And it's crazy because I should have brought the figure, but the percentage of people in America that have $1 million like liquid is very small. So it's a lot of money.
Yeah.
And the fact that it gets you nothing spectacular here says a lot.
Well, no, I mean, look, you can get really nice.
What I mean spectacular is like,
yeah, but I mean, like, dude,
beachfront and all of that.
Yeah, but go to California. There's plenty of markets in the in the U.S. that are. Go to Manhattan. We're going to be doing a report on MLS data. This is something that I've given to my group to learn about MLS data. So this is a presentation I'm giving to my sales team, and I'm here with Alejandro, who helps me with marketing. So he hasn't really looked at these numbers too, so we're gonna have a little back and forth. But we're gonna go ahead and get started. It's basically 14 or 15 questions on current MLS inventory that I think would be very beneficial, not only for people that are in sales here, but people that are buying or selling as well. What's up, Alejandro? You ready?
Ready.
All right, well, let's get rolling with this. Okay, so it's peak season. Let's keep going on the next ones here. Okay, so the elections are over. Airports are full. Tours are up. Weather is perfect. People are buying. So I want to say this right now. Elections are over. I'll be honest, maybe 2 weeks before the election, the U.S. election, I didn't hear anything about the election anymore. Because I think people had already made up their mind. And I personally didn't believe that one way or the other. Here's something interesting too. I've had somebody tour a more expensive property. He was very bullish about who got elected. Basically said, hey, I'm going to be making a bunch of money. I need to put some money to work. So I want to buy something here. Then a couple days later, I had somebody that said, hey, we need to get out of the country. We're looking for a place there. So once again, you have both things. I don't think anything's affected. But more importantly, the uncertainty of the election is over. We're in peak season. The weather is incredible right now. Airports are full. So we expect a very active end of the year and going into 2025. Okay, and so everybody knows this. These are like pop quiz for my agents. Okay, so question number 1. How much did we sell on the MLS in 2023? You want to take any stabs at these?
Anywhere between 1 and 1.5.
That's generally been a pretty good, since the pandemic, we've sold over $1 billion every year. So 1.67 billion. And then the question is, where are we now? So we sold 1.67 billion, and all that was done at 95.5% of list price.
Okay.
We also have, and so the next one is just going to be closed sales from November 17th so far this year.
Up until November 17th.
Which is 2 days ago, 3 days ago. All right, so how much have we sold on the MLS so far this year?
I'd say something like 30% less than the last figure. So something like a little bit over 1 billion, but not close.
I just checked this morning. We've sold 19% less than last year. You got to take into consideration the year over year too, where we still got a whole another 40 days of almost peak season. Yeah, so they're like things could get very active right here. A lot of that will close in the next year. So let's see what it is. I think it's 1.25. Okay, so we've sold 1.25 billion. We're on pace to sell. You know, considering that this is an active time, should be a lot of closings coming up too. So we'll see, but I guess that could close anywhere 1.35.
So close, but not equal to that.
No.
Better than what?
But this is what I'm saying. A lot of people were
better
crying,
than the general sentiment.
They were crying,
in the
chicken
market.
Little, chicken little. Here's another thing too that's interesting from the election. So we had Mexico elections, and then we had U.S. elections.
Yeah.
Now the peso was 16-1, and then Sheinbaum got elected in Mexico. And that's where we saw the peso or the dollar shoot up, you know, and then it got up to, and then when the U.S. president got elected, we saw it go up a little further. But there was exactly the bigger increase was when Mexico. So one thing that I'm seeing is like, hey, the dollar is, and this is good for foreign buyers. What I'm also seeing, this helps construction costs. So I think a lot of people that are building, that bought land, that want to build single family homes, I think you're going to see that pick up into next year.
For foreign buyers, of course.
Yes.
Not for national.
Yeah. Okay, so this is interesting. Condos are 29% of sales. And this is all Baja. And I'm just doing land, condos, and homes. So 29% of the sales that so far this year are condos. 52% are homes.
Yeah.
And let's keep going. Let's do two more. Land is 18%, and then commercial. So land, 18%, homes represent 52%, and condos 29%. Commercial, less than 1%. I will say this, a lot of the big commercial deals are not happening on the MLS, like, for example, like Soriana, or let's say like the Cape Hotel changed hands a couple years ago. That's not going to be reflected. But what is reflected on the MLS is less than 1% of the MLS. Okay. Question 3. What percentage of total MLS sales are in Los Cabos? And when I'm talking about Los Cabos, Cabo San Lucas and San Jose, and the corridor in between. So you basically on the MLS, you can look at Cabo San Lucas corridor, San Jose corridor, and San Jose del Cabo. And the most expensive area of that is the San Jose corridor, and that's where you have like Palmilla, Carencia. Yeah. So 58% of sales are happening in Los Cabos. What percentage of these sales? This is a good one. I don't know the answer to this. What is the percentage?
When you say San Jose, you're including the San Jose corridor?
Yes. Yeah. 37% is in San Jose. 21% of, and this is for the total of the MLS, right? So 21% of all sales on the MLS are in Cabo, and 37% of all sales on the MLS happen in San Jose.
Cabo is more, I don't know, but I would say it's more houses or properties than San Jose, but because the properties are more expensive in San Jose, then that's why you get these.
That's interesting.
Yeah, these figures.
And in San Jose, so that's total $470 million has been sold in San Jose, 258 in Cabo. So Los Cabos represents almost 60% of all MLS sales, and we are seeing more activity outside. But I think it'll be a while before. I won't say a while, but at some point that'll be 50%. That might happen in the next couple of years.
You think? Why?
The growth's happening. Yeah, the growth is happening, right? All right, so homes, San Jose corridor, 192 million, in condos, 67 million. Keep going. This is just general data. Keep going. Okay, average sale price. Okay, so look, average sale price for a home in the San Jose corridor. Okay, so San Jose corridor, we're talking Palmilla. Now, why do you think I threw this in here? Interesting stat. It's going to be the most expensive. What do you think the average price for a home?
I don't know, but it has to be over 2 million. I'd say it's like 2.5 million.
I'll tour people, and they're like, hey, yeah, we like Cabo. They're like, we really like San Jose. And I'm like, you know what? Like, so does Jeff Bezos and Oprah Winfrey, so if you can increase your price point, but I think it's close to 4.4 million, 4.48 million. So almost $4.5 million is the average sale price. And if you think about like Oceanside on Palmilla, if you want something new, like modern, it's tough to get it for less than 5 there. Question 5. What percentage? Okay, so we have 967 condos listed between Cabo and San Jose. What percentage of those do you think are in Cabo, and what percentage are in San Jose?
Most are in Cabo.
Yes.
I don't know percentage-wise, but
I'm going to say 70-30. I made this, but I can't remember all of it.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So 71% is in Cabo and 29%. So generally, most new projects are happening in Cabo. Every one that's happening in San Jose, when you factor in number of units, I think it could be almost like 6-1. I think it's probably 2 or 3 projects that happen in Cabo. There's one in San Jose, but it's also generally, you can have smaller projects.
Yeah, and this, of course, is including pre-construction.
Yes. And it just shows you Cabo corridor, that's where you, like, that's Tezal. Tezal. So 403 listings. Cabo San Lucas, 291. What do we have in San Jose?
And it's probably more because many of the pre-constructions are not in the list,
but that's coming up too. Those numbers are actually getting better, and I'll show that later. And then you see this, like San Jose corridor, once again, that's like, Palmilla is included in that. That's not many. And in San Jose, 193.
193. Question 6.
What percentage of housing inventory is in Cabo for San Jose? So we got 430 homes. This is interesting. I honestly don't remember what I put here.
Still, Cabo is more, but not as
that's exactly what I'm thinking. I think it's
not
probably
as big a difference.
50-50, 60-40 towards
like 60-40.
Okay, see what it is.
60-40.
Damn.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, 60% of housing inventory is in Cabo, 40% is in San Jose.
Mm-hmm.
And there you have it. So
the Cabo corridor.
Yeah, Cabo corridor has a lot. Cabo San Lucas. Once again, this is like downtown.
Yeah.
We're gonna get into it too. The Pacific side is like Pedregal is included in Cabo San Lucas, but above that is the Pacific.
So
like Quivira.
Do you think there's like a transition towards more houses being built in the Cabo corridor, like in Tezal, because there's too many condos already?
Yeah, I think. Well,
Like
we're gonna get into. Not really,
No?
because if you're buying land and you're a developer,
Of course.
and you can sell $80 million worth, $40 million worth.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a question of penciling. So I think a lot of commercial is, but it depends on the spot because everybody wants an ocean view. So it just depends on a lot of things. But yes, I do think people want more housing.
Yeah,
for sure. And then in San Jose, so definitely, once again, 60% of the housing inventory in Cabo, 40% in San Jose. Okay. Which once again accounts for 58% of all MLS sales. All right, so this is a good one. East Cape up and coming. What percentage of sales does the East Cape represent? Remember, Los Cabos represents 58%.
5%?
I think that's a good guess.
I'd say 5%. Do you know?
I think it's 4.8. Yeah. So 60 million. And I remember a couple years ago, and look, I remember looking at like year over year data where it was like 40 million. So you're seeing this creep up, and then due to lack of infrastructure, East Cape is a lot of land. So I think a lot of people are going to start building. These numbers are just going to keep increasing, just like they will on the Pacific side. Mm-hmm. But East Cape's only 60 million. That's 34 million is homes. And this is interesting. So 24 million in land, and then condo is only 1.1.
But I would have thought that land would be number one.
I probably would have thought
I guess
so too.
Many deals are made.
Big land purchases are done off market for sure. But the thing that jumps out to me the most is only 1.1 million. Mm-hmm. Like there needs to be more condo inventory.
Yeah, that's a big
on the
area of
MLS.
Opportunity, no?
And then once again, you got to think on the East Cape area, lack of infrastructure too. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You know, so can you sell a condo if you don't have water, power? Yeah. And this is what I want to say. There are a number of large projects in the work in the East Cape. Some people don't like this, but you know it's inevitable that there's going to be growth. So East Cape will continue to be. You know, I wouldn't be shocked if that number is closer to 100 million in sales. You know, in 2 to 3 years. I mean, look, they're building stuff like these beachfront homes in Playa Tortuga. That's right where the paved road ends.
And the road from the airport to
who knows when
that area, right?
Who knows when they build it? But yes, that is when that comes in. That'll be
an idea at least.
You know, exactly.
Yeah. Question 8.
What is defined as the Pacific? So this is good because I actually had to look this up. So, and just so people know this, I consider Quivira part of Cabo.
Yeah,
like, you know, so I don't feel like when I'm naturally,
and the Amante,
you know, like if you're in Mexico City and you're going, you know what I mean? So maybe the MLS categorizes, so you have in Cabo San Lucas, obviously at the tip, right? And then you have Pedregal. That is Cabo San Lucas per the MLS. Then right above that, you have Quivira, you know, to the north on the Pacific Ocean. You have Quivira. That's where the Pacific starts. And that is big because you have high-end golf courses. You got Quivira, you got Diamante, Rancho San Lucas, and then all the way up to like the Todos Santos area. And then above Todos Santos, you have Las Playitas and stuff, but that's really just start getting into land purchases.
When I pull data from the MLS, I always manually set that area, Quivira, all of that, in Cabo San Lucas. Because it makes land,
so
and the Pacific starts like in Negrini.
That's a great point, exactly. So I consider these areas Cabo, but the MLS calls it the Pacific.
Yeah.
It's kind of how the East Cape term gets abused a little bit. Everybody, like if it's above San Jose. Okay, so what percentage of MLS sales does the Pacific represent?
But hold on. Right now, the Pacific means Quivira or not?
Quivira, yes. Okay. Yeah.
You're taking...
Yeah, no, I'm doing what the MLS calls it. So Quivira on up. 17%, that sounds about right. Like if you took out the golf courses and did what you said, I think that drops down to
10.
8, 9.
Yeah, because those are big.
Yeah, they're big sales. Like Diamante, you've got homes listed in the teens.
Yeah. You
know, we had a sale at 11.5. You know, so you've got monster sales there. So a big portion of this is going to be those golf course communities, but that's pretty significant. 17%. And I will say this, Pacific side will continue, even if you take out the golf communities, will continue to pick up. So 139 million. Once again, we're talking Diamante, we're talking Quivira.
Yeah.
And you have a lot of $1 million plus homes on the Pacific side too that are like Todos Santos.
But the average, remember, it was in Todos Santos and that area, it was like 600,000, no?
Yeah.
$600,000.
Yeah, but you still have some outliers that are, and it's only going to increase.
Yes.
Because that's, we know a couple projects that are going in that area. Land sold. So there's a lot of land being bought. And to be honest, that's a good play. We had a meeting about that, land banking on the Pacific, East Cape Pacific, and letting the path of progress, as Ronan calls it, kind of go up, especially if you've got like a 5-10 year play. A lot of people buy land and they say they're going to build and they really plan on building, but then just due to the cost, maybe they're not going to build. So those people end up selling that land like 5-10 years down the road. But you can see land would be a good play for somebody looking just for investment, land banking.
Is it expensive in Mexico just to, like, in terms of taxes and all of that,
no,
to have land and just let it sit there?
No. So let's say you're in Austin or you're in Texas, you pay 2% property taxes a year. So if I just have land sitting, it's painful for me because over 3 years, I've paid 6% of that price in property taxes. In Cabo, it's 0.1%. So if I've got a piece of land that's worth $500,000, I'll just list it at $2 million. Oh, you're only going to offer me $1? Well, I don't really need to do anything because I'm not getting penalized for just holding this. So people, don't have really an incentive to sell and they can just sit on it. So it's actually a great play.
And of course, the tax is on the peso value of the property, right?
Yeah. I mean, it all comes down to that. Yeah.
Condo sold in the Pacific,
33 million. So look, that's a lot of homes. So the Pacific side, no shock. It's doing well. 140 million in homes, 42 million land sold, 33 condos sold.
Question 9.
What we got?
What percentage of sales are in La Paz? Population-wise, I mean, it's the capital city of the state, and population-wise, it's as big as Los Cabos. What was the percentage in Cabo, in Los Cabos?
58%.
58%. It has to be something like 20-something.
No. I think a lot of sales done. It's a much more Mexican market. Not as many like expat golf community type thing. So I think a lot of like old school deals are done off the MLS. But I think it's like 5-6%, 7-8 million. But those numbers are increasing. And La Paz is starting to get flights from like Los Angeles and stuff. So like that will increase. We've done a lot of videos on this. I think people are going to La Paz just because they see Cabo's gotten expensive. And I personally think that's a mistake unless you've actually been to La Paz, you go there, like it. But if you like Cabo, that does not mean that you are automatically, just because La Paz is in Baja, going to like it.
It's very different.
The price point, La Paz gets pretty toasty in the summertime. Beaches there are incredible, really good restaurants, kind of more of a authentic Mexican culture vibe. So, but still not that much. Then we gotta say there's a lot of off-market stuff happening there too.
It has to be, because this 6%, it can't be, right?
Yeah.
It has to be a little bit higher, given that the population is.
Yeah, but still, this is like the reality too that people need to hear, that this is just not as much of the market.
Maybe a little bit more. But it's amazing that it's such a small market given the size of the city, no? So
homes, what is that, 45 million sold?
44.8.
Condos, almost 20 million.
Land,
13 million. I figured that land would have been a little bit higher, but the good news is you got good home and good condo inventory there. And then you have areas like Centenario and other areas where they're building homes, so there's good value there if you like La Paz.
Yeah. Okay.
Question 10. What is happening post-election? So, I think the big thing is I personally thought it was kind of a little overrated. Everybody wants to know.
You're talking about the U.S. election.
Yeah,
I have a question about the Mexican election vote. Go ahead.
Well, I've already. What's your question?
My question is, from an American point of view, how big of a deal was it were Americans worried at all about it, or not really?
The only Americans that were worried about it are Americans that don't come here. So I had a guy, and he's like, "Hey, what do you think about like Shine Bomb?" And I'm like, "This is what I told him." I said, "Okay, do you think if whoever gets elected in the U.S. that's going to affect Hawaii?" And he's like, "No." I said, "Well, Cabo is not really part of Mexico. Plus, okay. I don't really think
it's an interesting,
So I don't think. First of all, I think that Mexicans in general. This is just my. I think that they don't believe their politicians are going to do much, and I think that's too far that way. But I also think Americans believe that whoever gets elected is going to change their life. Mm-hmm. So I think it's like two drastic things there, where I don't think the election really does much. However, what did happen from the Mexican election and the U.S. election, but more the Mexican election, was the peso. My personal opinion is that we're going to stay around 20-1, which will be good.
Were you getting a lot of Mexican buyers when the peso was stronger?
Apparently, my Mexican buyers don't like me. But I would have thought, man, I'm fluent in Spanish. I would have thought I don't have enough. Although Saul's watching this. Saul's a very wealthy Mexican guy that I've dealt with. But I don't have many, I guess I attract more American buyers. Mm-hmm. But it was a very good time. There was more Mexicans making purchases here for sure. Mm-hmm. They just weren't doing it with me. So US dollar to Mexican pesos up. I think a lot of building, like people, I told this to somebody and they're like, oh my God, that means I'm not talking about developers. Uh-huh. Because that's more of like, that gets deeper. I'm talking about the guy that had a piece of land and his quote will be maybe, it could be literally 20% cheaper now. And then if you can lock that in, and we know that, like something like Max Edge, So anyway, I always say this, everybody, hey, interest rates, nobody's financing here, but look, it's always going to affect. But the biggest thing for me is the stock market, because this is more of a discretionary purchase. Like maybe 10% of the people that buy from me are actually going to live here full time. So it's really vacation home, second home, third home, fourth home. It's a way to diversify. Okay, let's say 15 million of that is in the stock market. Stock market goes up and now you are at 17 million. Mm-hmm. You might feel that the stock market is inflated a little bit. I don't think it's a bad idea, whether that's here or in the U.S. or whatever market. I saw a guy who likes farmland. Take that out and put it into a tangible asset, a hard asset like real estate. So that's why I'm saying follow the stock market. Interest rates, I mean, it's like voodoo and it inevitably will affect everything, but no Americans really are financing here. So I don't think it affects as much. I think the stock market is a better indicator or a barometer of bullishness.
Yeah, interest rates may affect them indirectly.
And interest rates will affect the stock market.
Exactly.
But I actually think instead of like people are like, I think if you watch the stock market and you see it hitting all-time highs, you're like, okay, this is a very good thing.
Do you expect getting more interest from people that have most of their, or at least a big chunk of their money in crypto now that it's picking up again?
That's a good question. And I don't mind being very blunt about it. Most of the people that come to me and say they have crypto are full of shit.
Okay.
They don't have money. Mm-hmm. Like this one guy was like this, and he was very secretive. And then all of a sudden he was looking at like a $200,000. So I think there are young people that have crypto, and I think it will. But in my experience, I think of the guy who's in Austin, Texas that I'm working from, that's a business guy. Like these are the guys that I'm doing business with, not, hey, can I invest crypto? But I know a lot of people that are, and I know a lot of people that have talked about huge transactions, like $50 million piece of land. Now it didn't come at anything, so I just feel, I think it's a good thing, but it's always like people, they want to sell crypto and not pay like tax, and like how do they get it into something? And that's where it's just like, man, I'm not a financial advisor for you in that situation. I can help you and tell you what's valuable here and how you can invest your money. Mm-hmm. So I just feel like most of the people that have reached out to me, good for them if they have crypto and it's gone up.
Yeah. Okay.
I would say this too. This happened. Okay, so Trump gets elected.
Mm-hmm.
I start getting phone calls. Hey man, is the market going crazy?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, dude, come on. So, but I do feel like most people think, regardless of and I'm apathetic politically, really don't care. It's one of the reasons I'm here. But I do think that most people interpret it being bullish for the economy. But I personally, so let's go back to like 2021 where things were going like this. I think there's a possibility we get like that in 1 year. And I think it'll be a slow kind of uptick. It's not going to happen like that. But everybody, hey, man, hey.
Okay. Yeah, but the general sentiment is like bullish.
Yeah, no, the big thing is now there's no like excuse, hey, I'm going to like sit on my butt because I don't know what's happening.
Yeah.
There's no uncertainty with it. I'll say this right here. There's going to be more sales in 2025 than there are in 24.
More than in 23?
I would say probably.
Okay.
I can always delete the video if I'm wrong, right? I don't do that.
11.
Question 11. Now this is a good one, okay? Mm-hmm. So how are sales in Tezal? Once again, this is for my agent. So how do I search Tezal in the MLS? That's not really going to apply to the guy listening in, Denver.
Yeah.
But it's going to be Cabo corridor inland.
Yeah.
Okay. So how are sales in the MLS or in Tezal? This is a big question. Keep going. Okay. What is the absorption rate? So I have a couple things now. Absorption rate.
Define absorption rate.
Absorption rate. The easiest way I can say absorption rate is like, and we're going to have a chart of Tezal.
Okay.
Is if we stopped building, how long would it take us to sell all the inventory? Mm-hmm. So the lower the absorption rate, the crazier the market is. So if you have an absorption rate that's like below, if it's like 3 months, like, dude, that's not necessarily good because that's where it's like chaos. Like people are just tripping over to buy. So we got up to like 2 years of inventory for the absorption rate in Tezal. Once again, there are projects that are being launched that haven't had inventory on the market. Mm-hmm. So that's going to add to it. But I will say this too. If you talk to me about those particular projects, I will say that's not even like stuff that I would be pushing to people. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Like I don't feel comfortable with it. So let's say, hey, well, this project's coming online. Well, I didn't sell there and I'm not going to. Not every project in Tezal is created equal.
Yeah, no, definitely.
So let's go to the next slide.
Absorption rate.
Okay, so this is the number of listings, okay? So this is 1 year, right? So November, so active listings, 350, but you can see listings are going down.
Number of listings, yeah.
So that could mean two things. They're either getting purchased or they're getting taken off the market.
Mm-hmm. So you can see a slight decrease in the number of sold listings, no? So that's kind of funny.
Yeah.
Okay. Next?
Yeah, next one. Days on market. This is a big one, right? So 1 year ago, that's crazy, dude. Over 550 days on market for Tezal condos. Okay, so now we're getting down to 200. But you can see, look, and what I'm telling you is, if you go forward, I'm telling you my prediction is bullish from this point forward.
So that means that you expect like 200 days on the market, kind of. I think
the good projects, like absolutely, yeah. Like there's a project that I don't like, and I saw like 3 sales go pending in it, and I was like, man. So once again, I've been watching the Tezal market too. It's kind of like the canary in the coal mine type thing, where I'm like, hey, so like I'll be watching, and I didn't see much activity. I'm calling other agents. I'm like, hey man, what are you seeing? But now I'm starting to see like this project. I was like, man, I wouldn't buy there, but like 3 pendings. We'll see. And that's what I'm saying. And you can't throw Tezal into one basket.
Yeah.
But it is the poster child for, hey, there's a lot going on here. There's a lot of construction. Mm-hmm.
Days on market, absorption rate.
Absorption rate. So this is, bullish. Like, man, we got up to almost 2 years on absorption rate.
Yeah.
And this is once again, just condos in Tezal, which I've said this in many videos. I believe this to be a buyer's market. So what I think is like, hey, let's just say, why do you think I'm in this condo right now, Alejandro?
Why?
Somebody from Utah is about to buy it. That's why they're doing this. So what I'm saying is, like, if you've been sitting on the sidelines, I think it's actually been intelligent.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm telling you is that there could be some sort of bottom here to where you can still, we're going to have the sale to list, come up soon, but like maybe it's not a bad time to make an offer on something. And maybe it was a project was getting built out and now it's like a resale, so I think the next couple of months there's, and who knows, but I think there's the capacity to get a good deal right now.
Yeah, but even a year ago, when it was at 13 or 12 months of inventory, that's double what is considered a balanced market, no? So that means that...
Yeah, but that's
that
also
then
too,
there was oversupply.
Maybe not for a vacation market.
Okay.
That's why I would say it's probably, but yeah, you're right. I would say let's call that like 7 months.
That's interesting. So what's the difference between a balanced market in a vacation market and a normal primary
let's
market?
see, like, pick a city in the U.S.
San Diego.
Okay, San Diego. If you're taking people around to buy a home in San Diego, do you think like a school's important to them?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's not really here. Like the guy who's buying in Kabir is not like, hey, where's the, so like that is like a purchase that they have to make because it's for them like to live.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, like in my experience, that's only 10%. So in that way, it's like a different market and there's different like demands for like the supply factors there. So I think that, and that's not just something I've come up with. This is, I'll have to get you the book. I think it was the Gary Keller one.
Okay.
Where he talks about vacation markets. It's generally going to be, and then once again, it's different too between like a Tezal and a luxury market.
So the 6 month like threshold is not useful here.
No, okay. I'm just saying I would bump it up. I think it is. I think you would bump it up though.
Okay.
So yeah, you're right. That is, and that's actually very interesting that it didn't look that bad, a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
Considering, we still look pretty bad compared to a year ago.
Yeah.
But it's trending in the right direction. That's what I'm saying. If I go this way, I think we continue trending in the right direction, even with other projects inventories coming online.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Sold to list. So
what does that mean though?
Okay. So this means like, let's say this condo, let's just throw out a number, 700,000, 3-bedroom penthouse. Basically, people are like, hey, what type of discount can I get? It's like, well, the average one, and this is in Tezal, and this is pretty accurate for the market right now. I think land sales, you might be able to get better deals. Because people don't know necessarily how to price them properly, too. That's one thing. But this is basically saying that if you have a listing that's, let's call it 775, because I'm not good at math in my head, 775. At 94%, that means that like, maybe 725 is a price that you can get that for.
Okay.
So if a condo is 500,000, maybe you could get it for 450.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But like maybe that's the offer you come in with, right? So that's a good barometer. But it's like, hey, look at these other things where it's like, hey, you had times where, let's go back to 21 where people were paying over asking price.
Well, look, in the previous chart in November, the absorption rate was 12, and this ratio was over 102.
Yeah.
So that's pretty interesting because even if the absorption rate is considered high, the ratio is super high. No, it's higher than asking price.
And that, once again, like I think things can skew the market, but yeah.
So that reinforces the point you were making before about a buyer's market in vacation.
Yeah,
markets,
that's what I'm saying. It's a buyer's market, and I see this.
But you have
like, I don't know.
Literally.
People are like,
right?
oh, well, you sell real estate. I'm like, yeah, I know I do, but like I think it's a buyer's market, and I'm not saying if like in February you're gonna like miss the boat, but I think hindsight's 2020. This condo is gonna be bought at a good deal. I'll put it like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's other opportunities around too. Okay, so next question. What is the difference between 3-bed and 2-bedroom condos? So obviously like there's more 2 bedrooms. And I think post-pandemic people have really looked for like a flex. I mean, this is a 3-bedroom, right? So like maybe there's more space, because people are working from home type thing. So we have 1,163 condos And that doesn't include like Loreto,
Mm-hmm.
but up to like La Paz. So what do you think the percentage of inventory of those?
More two-bed condos. 2 bedrooms,
Like what percentage?
60-40.
Because I break it down to all of them. So
One bedroom,
one bedrooms
12%.
represent 12% of the market.
Mm-hmm. 2 bedrooms, 56.
2 bedrooms are 56%.
3 bedroom, 29%.
29%. So go to 4 bed.
4%.
4 bed are 4%, and go one more. Okay, so let's leave it at that. Okay. So by the way, there's 3 listings of one's a 5 bedroom, one's a 6 bedroom, and one's a 7 bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
Personally, I don't really have that many 1 bedroom purchases.
Mm-hmm.
2 bedroom, especially, I think it's just better to have for investment. I think the 2 and a 3 bedroom is good. So you got 56% are 2 bed, 29% 3 bed. And I think you're starting to see more because a lot of Tezal is 2 bedroom, but that's just an interesting stat in my opinion.
Yeah, that it's so concentrated on 2 bedrooms. I think it's interesting. Next.
So go back. Question 13 again. Question 13B.
How would you define the market of 1 million to 2 million in Los Cabos? I think it's hard to define it in all of Los Cabos. I think you would have to break it down in areas, because the average price in all of Los Cabos is like 1 million, but that's because of the outliers that are in the San Jose corridor that we talked about.
So Ariel is getting this question from our group.
Mm-hmm.
Ariel is our sales manager, like really, really sharp. Specifically for homes, it's tricky.
Mm-hmm.
It's tricky because it's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money, but people think they're going to get like the beachfront.
No.
So it's like, you've got like Rancho Paraíso, but then once you, like for example, Puerto Los Cabos.
Yes.
Puerto Los Cabos, you're not getting a home for less than 3. So I've seen a lot of people that like want that money to go as far as like the Puerto Los Cabos purchase, and that's why we covered this. Once again, this is for our sales group.
And it's crazy because I should have brought the figure, but the percentage of people in America that have $1 million like liquid is very small. So it's a lot of money.
Yeah.
And the fact that it gets you nothing spectacular here says a lot.
Well, no, I mean, look, you can get really nice.
What I mean spectacular is like.
Yeah. But I mean, like, dude.
Beachfront and all of that.
Yeah, but go to California. There's plenty of markets in the U.S. that are. Go to Manhattan.
When you get a client with a budget of like 1 million, what do you tell him?
Well, it depends what they're looking for. For example, I think a great market for this is like Cabrera. I think it just depends on what you're looking for. Or you could have like a ocean view home in the corridor. Mm-hmm. Like Rancho Paraíso. Or you just drop to like half that, and you have like really good, pretty solid homes, Toscana, these types of listings. So it depends. That's what I'm saying. There's like levels, but it's crazy, like the value that is. So anyway, I'm not the best to answer that question.
And if you like the Pacific market, you can get something very
absolutely
nice.
Like Todos Santos is
like
yeah. So we're just talking about Los Cabos, but absolutely you can get something really nice on the Pacific.
But I mean, I guess the question is something like 1 to 2 million. Is that the luxury end of the market here? And I think that the answer is not really.
It just depends what you're looking for.
Okay. If it's a buyer's market, what can I expect to pay?
Okay, and this goes back to what the sell price to the list price comes out to. Mm-hmm. And right now on all the MLS, it's 94.5%. I mean, it's a good number to have. Once again, this is for my agents. So it's like, hey, maybe if you have something that's $1 million, maybe you come in at 900,000. Once again, you got to take into where it's at, how many days it's been on the market, conversations you're having. Mm-hmm. So, but you can expect to pay. Go with it? Yeah. 94.75%. So it's about 95%.
Yeah.
And once again, this goes back to, people pricing properties correctly. Land prices, for example, this is 94%. land in the East Cape, it depends, but like, especially in like, when people just start, it's not as an efficient market, so people list for whatever, and then they'll be on the market for like a year or 2 years, and somebody will come in and, I would say for those types of purchases, that's closer to 90%.
Because they generally list it too high, you think?
That, but it's also like it's not like usable like a home. So I think like the demand,
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's a combination of things. Last one.
So 2020, that's almost 5 years ago.
Yes.
What is the population of Los Cabos?
Yeah.
Like 350,000 people.
Cheated, man.
No.
Got it wrong. 351. So I think you can very clearly define that as 400,000 now.
Now?
Yeah. Plus, like, who knows how many people
exactly come and go.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. I don't think
La Paz is about the same size, the same population, and that's a staggering figure.
So,
10,000.
and this would be something to look into, but I want to know if there's anything close to as comparable as this in the United States. Going in 40 years, the percentage growth that Cabo has seen. And the reason I bring this up is infrastructure, all sorts of things, but like, it's absolutely wild to think that you went from 10,000 to 351 in a 40-year period. Like, if you dropped Cabo into the United States, I don't think anything would be like 25% of that. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe 50%. Like, it's absurd.
Yeah.
But it's still not that many people. No. And all of Baja was 880.
Most people in Baja live either.
And I'm talking about Baja Sur,
yes,
right?
Of course.
So I use Baja like the whole peninsula. So you got Baja California, and you got Baja California Sur. So I'm talking about Baja Sur. Like Tijuana is bigger than freaking.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's Baja California. I'm talking about Baja Sur. The entire state is less than 1 million.
So most of the population is concentrated in Los Cabos and La Paz. That's almost.
Almost and that's what people. Well, and then you go on terms of sales. Most of the sales are 58%. At least what happens on the MLS is Cabo.
Yeah.
And then we kind of gave a good. You got the Pacific coming in closer to like 17, 18%.
Yeah.
East Cape, La Paz.
Yes.
Loretto's getting active, man. But once again,
what's the population? It's tiny.
Yeah. So I brought a guy up to Loretto, and he said that it felt like Cabo. Like, I said 20 years ago. He goes, no. He's like, this feels like Cabo like 40 years ago. So, but Loretto needs flight traffic. So does La Paz.
Yeah.
They need to get more flights from LA, Houston, Dallas, and Loretto needs that, and it's coming.
Yeah,
definitely. But once again, it's like the election. It's not going to happen overnight. That's all we got.
Okay.
So hope you guys enjoyed that, and if you liked it, let us know, because we'll do more of them, especially if you watched this long. So cool.
Thank you.